Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauramani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today we'll be discussing the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So as devotees, we aspire to chant 16 rounds and then we take initiation vows, but we never take a vow of reading Srila Prabhupada books. So that's why most of us, we have a problem making a committed attempt to read Srila Prabhupada books on a regular basis. Therefore, in this, we'll be attempting to see the overview of whole Bhagavatam, and the purpose of this is to go more and more deep in the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is not the end, just like we discussed the overview of whole Bhagavad Gita and then Nectar of Devotion. So we had just measured the expanse, and to measure the depth is a lifetime's job. So we have to be really very eager and very attentive and committed to read these Srila Prabhupada books. One of the Srila Prabhupada disciples, he reads Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita every year. All these three books every year. So somebody asked him, Prabhuji, why you are doing so much of tapasya? So then that Prabhuji replied that, when I'll go back to the spiritual world, Srila Prabhupada would be there standing and he would ask me, so Prabhu, did you read my books? What will I reply? So just to reply him, I am reading the Srila Prabhupada books every day, and we are reading all these books. I'm reading all these books every year. So therefore, reading and understanding and applying these principles which are given in Srila Prabhupada books, they comprise the very basis of Krishna consciousness. There is one verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which describes Yahi Leela Amrit bine khaye yadi anna pane tabe bhaktera durbala jivan Yar ek bindu pane utfullita tanu mane hase gaye koroe nartane. So Kaviraj Goswami describes Yahi Leela Amrit, whoever does not taste this nectar of Krishna Katha, but he is tasting the prasad very nicely. Tabe bhaktera durbala jivan, still the devotee will become very weak. But he will not become physically weak, he will become spiritually weak. But yara ek bindu pane utfullita tanu mane, but if he just tastes a drop of this nectar every day, he'll be completely enlivened. Hase gaye karo enartane. So therefore, by practicing and reading this Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam every day, one gets transformed. And it is said that if we want to develop attachment to Krishna, that is the goal of our Krishna consciousness, two things are very important. Attentive chanting and reading 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So of course we have to go through all the 9 cantos, because 9 cantos, all the first 9 cantos describe the greatness of Krishna, and 10th canto describes the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes. So as we know, Krishna appears in this world to establish the principles of religion. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. And we read these appearances of pastimes in almost every canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also appeared in this world with this mood of prema rasa niryasa korite aswadan ragamarga bhakti loke korite pracharan. He came to give this love of God to everyone. So by these pastimes, the purpose of Krishna is to attract everyone to his lotus feet. Yanmartya lilo paitam paikam swayogam maya balam darshayatam grihita vismapanam sasya cha saubhagarde param padam bhushana bhushanangam. So Krishna's every limb is most attractive. The ornaments which are there on the body of Krishna, they become beautified by being on the body of Krishna. So therefore, of all the pastimes of Krishna, of all the incarnations of Krishna, Krishna's incarnation as a human, they are most attractive. Krishna rayate kakhela sarvottama nara lila nara vapu tahara swarup. Krishna rayate kakhela. Of all the incarnations of Krishna, the incarnation of Krishna as a human, it is most attractive, because in that we can relish and relate to Krishna's pastimes. So therefore, when Krishna, he performed so many pastimes in this world, and then he, in a very, very enigmatic way, he disappeared in Maushala Leela, which is described in detail in the 11th canto. So now after Krishna left this world, Krishna again appeared in this world in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishne swadhamo pagate dharma jnanadi vissaha kalau nashta drishamesha puranarko adhunoditaha. Krishne swadhamo upagate. When Krishna went back to the spiritual world, dharma and jnana also went along with him. Then to give vision to people in general, Krishna again appeared in this world as the Purana Arka. Arka means the sun. In the form of the son of Bhagavatam, Krishna has appeared again. So the appearance of Srimad Bhagavatam is to give shelter to dharma and give shelter to jnana, knowledge. So Krishna appears in so many incarnations, in so many varieties of species. As a fish, appeared as Matsya. In animal form, appeared as Varaha. In the form of a bird, Krishna appeared as Hamsa. In the form of a human, Krishna appeared as Krishna himself. Krishna has appeared in the form of book also, and that is called Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is Granthavata, and this Bhagavatam is actually combination of all the other incarnations. So therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he describes that all the scriptures, they have very, very brilliant meanings, and they are supposed to give satisfaction to heart. But in due course, the real meaning of the scriptures are lost. And he compares the scriptures to a house. The satisfaction to the treasure which is there in the house. The real meaning of these scriptures, he compares to a night watchman. And he compares the time to a thief. So as the time progresses in Kali Yuga, the real meaning is lost, because it is compared to the watchman who is sleeping. There are so many misinterpreters who give so very different meanings that the real meaning is lost. One time somebody was telling, महाराज आप लोग बोलते हैं कि चाय नहीं पीना चाहिए. अरे भगवत गीता में कहाँ लिखा है? अरे मैं तो बोलता हूँ कि भगवत गीता में लिखा है चाय पीना चाहिए. कहाँ लिखा है भाई चाय पीना चाहिए? So he quoted a verse from Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter. सर्वस्य चायम हृदि सन्निविष्टो. और वो बोलता अरे और ऊपर से ये भी लिखा है कि स्टोव पे बना के पीना चाहिए. चाय हृदि सन्निविष्टो, स्टोव पे बना के पीना चाहिए. So that is how people have so many different distorted understandings about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So therefore, Krishna descends as this book of Bhagavat to restore this dharma. And Srila Prabhupada, when he came, he went to the spiritual world. He went to America, and came back after a great success establishing this ISKCON all over the world. So one very wealthy businessman came to meet him in India, and he came to Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, aapne ye sab kaise kiya? So Prabhupada said, Are, he was thinking of some business strategy because Prabhupada was also a businessman in the past. So Prabhupada said, हम करताल लिया, पेड़ के नीचे बैठा और कीर्तन किया, सब हो गया. So he said, नहीं स्वामी जी और क्या किया? So Prabhupada said, just सब बस कीर्तन किया और सब हो गया. So this businessman, he was not able to understand. He said, नहीं स्वामी जी ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? Business ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है, you know. So he could not conceive of this achintya shakti which was invested in Srila Prabhupada by mercy of Mahaprabhu. So therefore, Krishna appears in this world as Srimad Bhagavatam. So Brahmaji, he created the Vedas. These Vedas, they are like the stones, you know, and there are piles of various colored stones, or you consider it piles of various vegetables, you know, and various vegetables you bring from the sabji market, and then you mix all of them together. So then if you want to make, just like you have brought dudi and bhopla and karela and you know, so many other vegetables, and if you want to make a dudi sabji, so then you have to search, you have to separate dudi from the pile of mixed vegetables. So what Vyasadeva has done, he has separated the various Vedas for the compassion of people in general. First, before 5,000 years back, all the Vedas, they were like all the vegetables put together. But Vyasadeva, out of his mercy, he compiled, segregated the Vedas, and then he gave Puranas, and then he made disciples and distributed these knowledge to all the disciples. So it was all done by the mercy of Vyasadeva. Bhautikanam cha bhavanam, because he saw that the people in Kali Yuga, they will have less energy, they will have less faith, they will have less life, they will be unfortunate. So Muni Divyena Chakshusha, Vyasadeva could see all this. So therefore, for the benefit of people in general, he wrote all the scriptures. But you know, somebody may say, but that if there's a chef who has made 50 dishes, and a person comes and he asks the chef, which of these is the best preparation? So the chef may say, you know, I have made all of them, but this one is the best which I have made. So it will be very easy for any person to select that, and if he eats that, he'll be naturally satisfied and peaceful. Similarly, just as we value chef's recommendation to choose from the menu, similarly we have to value the author's recommendation to read a book from the many books which he has written. So Vyasadeva, he wrote all the Vedas, all the Puranas, Itihasas, everything he wrote, but still he was not satisfied. Kimva Bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupita priya paramahamsanam taeva hi achyuta priya. So then Vyasadeva was not satisfied even after writing all the Vedic literatures. He started contemplating. Is it that I have not described the Bhagavat dharma? Na praye. Praye means in an extensive way. Bhagavatam is dear to Krishna and dear to the devotees. So that's why he is thinking, am I dissatisfied because of this? One time Srila Prabhupada was doing book distribution with all the devotees, and actually before that Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan there was a shop. Every day in the morning, this shopkeeper would give first offerings to the devotees. So all the devotees, they knew where to go to get all these Bengali sweets. So devotees were in line there waiting, and the shopkeeper gave them all the nice prasad. So then, as they were tasting that rasgulla, rasmalai and everything, they saw Srila Prabhupada coming in the car. So then they were very afraid because they could not hide it. The liquid was dripping. They had everything in their mouth. They could not put in their pocket because it was all wet. So then Prabhupada's car passed by. They became bach gaye. Prabhupada's car stopped, came back. Prabhupada rolled down the shield, and then he said, Bengali sweets, very good for health. Everybody said, Jai Prabhupada. So then after some days, devotees were doing book distribution in Delhi. Prabhupada was also there. So one of the devotees was there in this Vrindavan incident. He was also there doing book distribution. So he remembered, oh, Prabhupada likes Bengali sweets. So he brought a Bengali sweet from one of the sweet shops, and he gave to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, he took Chaitanya Charitamrita which was there, and he told, this is the best Bengali sweet, you know. So this we have to make Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita our life's treasure. So Vyasadeva, he is thinking, I have followed all the rules and regulations, but still I am not satisfied. Why? So then Narad Muni comes and he says, whatever you have written is condemned. You have not glorified Krishna to the fullest. Then Srila Vyasadeva wrote Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is the eternal Shruti scripture, and it is not a Smriti scripture. Shruti means the words of Krishna directly heard by the great sages, just like the Vedas. And Smriti means that which is heard by the sages, and then that is spoken according to their realization. So therefore, Vyasadeva, he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he was completely satisfied. Srila Sanatana Goswami, he has glorified Srimad Bhagavatam in our choicest words. He says, Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha, Sarva Edaika Satthala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya, Sarva Lokaika Drikpada, Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha. This is the essence of all the scriptures. Sarva Vedaika Satthala. This is the true fruit of all the Vedas. Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya. The philosophy of Srimad Bhagavatam is the crest jewel of all the philosophies. Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. And this Bhagavatam is very, very able to give vision to people in general. This Bhagavatam is the life of a devotees, and it can destroy all the bad effects of Kali Yuga. Therefore, Shri Krishna Parivartita. Bhagavatam is Krishna's transformation. Krishna has transformed himself into Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, he says, Madeka Bandhu, Mad Sangi, Mad Guru, Mad Mahadhana, Mad Nistaraka, Mad Bhagya, Mad Ananda, Namostute. There is only one friend I have, that is Bhagavatam. One associate, my spiritual master, my greatest treasure, my deliverer, my fortune, my happiness, everything is Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, Prabhupada writes in the preface of this Bhagavatam that he says that human society at present is not in the darkness of oblivion. It has made rapid progress in terms of the material comforts, but somewhere there is a pinprick in the society. Even after all these scientific advancements, people are not happy. And there is no clue why this is happening. So therefore, he writes that Srimad Bhagavatam is the only one thing which can fulfill, which can give solace to the entire society, entire nation, entire world. It will bring peace, friendship, and prosperity. So therefore, when Srila Prabhupada was with London mayor, and London mayor had come to talk to him, and he was telling about his problems, what he's facing, the crime rates are increasing. Prabhupada said, you just give us land in the middle of the city and we will do the needful. So London mayor, he was getting confused. What am I saying and what is he asking? There is no correlation. So he could not understand that Krishna consciousness is the only thing which is missing. So therefore, Prabhupada would always stress his disciples, all the devotees, if you read Bhagavad Gita, if you read Bhagavatam, you will stay. In one of the purports, Prabhupada writes, all the devotees connected with this Krishna consciousness movement must read all the books that have been translated. In bracket, he writes Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrit, etc. Otherwise, after some time, they'll just eat, sleep, and fall down from their position, and thus they lose the eternal life in the spiritual world. So, therefore, we should understand that this reading of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam every day, it is not some accessory thing we have to do. It is a part of our sadhana. So try to inculcate this habit of daily reading, even if not for hours. At least start with something. Make small habits. At least I'll read 10-15 minutes every day, whatever may happen. So that will be the very, very advantageous thing for all of us. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gives his conclusive opinion. He says, Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesh Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachitupasana Brajabadhu Vargena Va Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumarto Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradharana Paraha. So in this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given 5 truths. Aradhya Bhagavan. He has described everything about Krishna. Who is our Aradhya Dev, worshipable Lord? That is Brajesha Tanaya. That is the son of Nanda Maharaj. Brajesha Tanaya. And where does he stay? Tadhama Vrindavana. He stays in Vrindavan. And then who are the topmost devotees of Krishna? Ramya, Kachitupasana, Brajabadhu, all the gopis of Vrindavan, they are the best of the devotees. And then, what is the praman for this? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Puran which gives the evidence that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, gopis are the highest devotees. And what is the result you will get from reading Srimad Bhagavatam? Prema Pumarto Mahan. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, they are 4 Purusharthas. But there is Pancham Purushartha called Prema. And that is given by Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam. Tatradharana Paraha. One person raised his hand in a class of Srila Prabhupada and said, is Krishna your God? Prabhupada said, he is your God too. So that was Prabhupada. So he would always be very, very clear in presenting the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. He would never beat around the bush. One few sadhus came to meet him in India, and Prabhupada asked him, so according to you, who is Supreme God? So the sadhus, they started saying, oh Swamiji, it is very difficult to understand who is God. We have to study all the Vedas and then we'll be able to find out. There was a small Gurukul boy who was playing around. So Prabhupada called him. There was a jar full of gulab jamuns which was kept on the table of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada kept his hand on the jar. The small boy, he got an idea, got the signal. If I'll give a right answer, I'll get it. Prabhupada asked him, who is God? The boy smilingly, happily said, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada said, very good. He took out one gulab jamun, gave him, boy happily ran away. Prabhupada said, just see, even a small boy in our movement knows who is God. What is the use of your big philosophical and scholarly description? You don't know who is God. So therefore, by Mahaprabhu's mercy, by Srila Prabhupada's grace, we have understood all these things very easily. So there are 18 Puranas, and of these 18 Puranas, 6 are in Sattva Guna, 6 are in Rajoguna, and 6 are in Tamoguna. So these are different varieties depending on the proclivities of people. And depending on the different proclivities, people have different attraction. and because depending on the different attractions, they have different absorptions, so therefore, depending on the consciousness he has, he gets attracted to a particular type of Purana. Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost of all the Puranas, and therefore it is called Amala Purana. It is transcendental. Brahmanas, they are attracted by knowledge. Kshatriyas are attracted by power. Vaishyas are attracted by wealth. Shudras, they are attracted by service. But Srimad Bhagavatam is not in any of this, these modes. Brahmanas are in mode of goodness. Kshatriyas are in mode of goodness and passion. Vaishyas are in mode of passion and ignorance. Shudras are in ignorance. Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental. So in this overview of Bhagavatam, we'll be seeing all these things, the concepts. We'll see the expanse of this whole Bhagavatam, the flow, the links, and there are some repetitions in Bhagavatam. We'll see all the characters of Bhagavatam. So this is what we'll be discussing. So we'll start with this Srimad Bhagavatam's glorification. Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to Krishna's body. It is a very, very beautiful verse which comes in Padma Purana. This verse compares all the 12 cantos of Bhagavatam to various limbs of Krishna. Padau yadiyo prathamo dvitiyo tritiya turyo kathito yadoru navistata panchama eva sashtho bhujantaram dora yugalau tathanyo. Padau yadiyo, the two lotus feet of the Lord, they are compared to the first and second cantos. Prathama dvitiya tritiya turyo kathito yadoru. Third canto is compared to the calves of the Lord. Fourth canto is compared to the thighs of the Lord. Nabhistata panchama eva sashtho. The navel is compared to the fifth and sixth cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhujantaram dora yugalau tathanyo. The two hands of the Lord, they are compared to seventh and eighth cantos. Kanthasturajan navamo yadiyo mukharavindam dashamam prafullam. The kantha, the neck of the Lord, is compared to the ninth canto, and the most beautiful lotus face of the Lord is compared to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So there he says Ekadasho yasya lalata pattam. 11th canto is compared to the forehead, and the whole head is compared to the 12th canto. Shiro pitu dvadasha eva bhati tamadi devam karunanidanam tamala varnam suhitavataram apara samsara samudra setum bhajamahe bhagavata swarupam. So Tamadi Deva, O Supreme Lord, you are the Adi Deva, Karuna Nidhanam, you are the ocean of mercy, you are like the complexion of a tamal tree, and you have appeared in this world for the benefit of people in general. Apara samsara samudra setu, this ocean, this material world is a unlimited ocean. Bhajamahe bhagavata swarupam. So this is the merciful nature of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhajamahe bhagavata swarupam. So therefore this Bhagavata is a swarup of the Lord. We have to worship this Bhagavatam. And therefore this whole Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, and these 12 cantos, they describe the 10 topics of any scripture, any Purana. So what are these 10 topics? Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshanam utayah manvantara ishanu katha nirodho muktirashrayah. So sarga and visarga. Sarga means primary creation, visarga means secondary creation. So this first and second cantos, they primarily describe sarga and visarga. First canto is basically the introduction, and then the third and fourth cantos describe these sarga and visarga in great detail. The creation by Brahmaji, then Manus, then the pastimes of the Lord Varahadeva are described in the third canto. And the navel of the Lord, that is fifth canto, it describes the sthana. The sthan means the place. So this fifth canto describes the geography. Whole Vedic cosmology is described in the fifth canto. And then there's a description of the Bhumandala and the structure of the universe. All the complicated descriptions are there. Then the sixth canto describes the Poshana, how Lord takes care of his devotees. And in this sixth canto, very, very beautiful descriptions of Ajamila, Indra, Chitraketu, all these people come, all these devotees, how Krishna protected them. It is described in the sixth canto, how Lord protects his devotees. And then Utaya, Uti means the description of the inauspicious inclinations and the auspicious inclinations. The pure and mixed bhakti is described in seventh canto by the description of the devotion of Prahlad and the demoniac nature of Hiranyakashipu. Then eighth canto describes the Manvantara, the dynasties of the Manus and the activities of the Lord during those Manvantaras. And then Ishanu Katha means this canto, the ninth canto, describes the topics related to so many of the Lord's devotees and the description of the sun and the moon dynasty. And then the 10th canto describes the beautiful lotus face of the Lord, that is the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, in Mathura, in Dwarka, in Hastinapur. All these are described in great detail in 10th canto. And then how to get liberated from this world is described in the 11th canto. And then how Lord destroys this entire world, entire creation is described in the 12th canto. There are 4 types of inhalations which are described. First is Nitya Pralay, Naimittika Pralay, Prakritik Pralay, and Atyantika Pralay. So we'll discuss all this, and then how Parikshit Maharaj got liberated, and then the activities of Markandeya Rishi are described here. So this Bhagavatam is not different from the body of Krishna. Just like when you go to temple, take darshan of the deity of the Lord, we start from the lotus feet, and then gradually we rise up to the lotus face. Similarly, when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to gradually start from the first canto, read each and every sentence, each and every purport, and gradually we have to go till 10th canto and 11th and 12th cantos. So why this is required? Because if somebody directly jumps to the 10th canto and reads the pastimes of Krishna with gopis, which are very favorite pastimes for all the professional reciters, it will not increase our devotion, it will increase our lust. So if we know who is this Krishna who is performing such pastimes, then we will be reading 10th canto in right consciousness. Therefore, we have to worship Srimad Bhagavatam by reading it. As Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Adhyeshyate chaya imam dharmyam samvadam avayoh jnana yagyena tenaham ishtahasyamiti me matihi. Adhyeshyate, one who studies this Bhagavad Gita, this Bhagavatam, he worships me with his intelligence. Ishtahasyamiti me matihi. Jnana yagyena tenaham. He worships me with intelligence. So therefore, like the deity is worshipped, we have to worship this Bhagavatam from toe to feet, lotus feet to the lotus face. So therefore, this Srimad Bhagavatam is not like any other ordinary book. This Srimad Bhagavatam reciprocates according to the attitude and the sincerity of the person. According to the attitude of a person, sincerity of the person, different people will get different meanings. One time, Srila Prabhupada, 2 devotees went to Prabhupada and they asked, Prabhupada, how is it that, just take for example, there are 2 devotees and both equally disqualified, unqualified. One gets devotional service, other does not. What makes that person qualified for getting this bhakti and other not? Prabhupada told him, don't try to find the formula for causeless mercy. It is causeless, you cannot demand it. So therefore, we have to really struggle hard, endeavor to the best of our capacity, And then only Krishna will be pleased, because when Krishna sees his devotee is really endeavoring to come close to him, Krishna being a very, very loving, gentle father, he shows mercy. So therefore, this Bhagavatam was compiled by Srila Vyasadeva for the welfare of people in general. And why was Bhagavatam compiled? This Bhagavatam was compiled to remove the distress of people in general. This is the main purpose of Bhagavatam. Anartha upashamam sakshat bhakti yogam adoksaje lokasya ajanato viddhams chakre sattvata samvitam. So first canto describes that anartha upashamam, for the destruction of all the anarthas, and bhakti yogam adhoksaje, and to give rise to devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, this Bhagavatam was written. But people in general, they do not know this. So therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam establishes Krishna as a person. This is a very, very clearly described in whole Bhagavatam. Therefore, the Mayavadi scholars, they never ever give commentaries on Bhagavatam, because it is very, very difficult to give commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is so personal, so direct, you cannot misinterpret it. So many verses of Bhagavatam describes the personality of Krishna. Just like this verse from the Gopi Gita, when Krishna is returning from the forest, it comes in Venu Gita, or so where Krishna, all the gopis, they are glorifying the beauty of Krishna. Baraha Pidam Natavaravapu Karnayo Karnikaram Bhradvasa Kanaka Kapisha Vaijayantim Chamala Randranvenum Madasudaya Purayan Gopa Brinde Vrindaranyam Sapadaраmanam Pravishat Kita Kirti. Baraha Pidam, Krishna is having a peacock feather in his head. Natavaravapu, he is dressed very, very nicely like a dramatic dancer. He has put a flower above his ears. He is wearing a very, very beautiful golden garment. Vaijayanti, he has a Vaijayanti mala, the garland of forest flowers, and is beautifully playing flute. And all the gopas, they are following him. So therefore, Srila Vyasadeva establishes Krishna's supremacy, Krishna's form as a person very, very clearly in Bhagavatam. Ete chamshkala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So Bhagavatam again and again establishes Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, above all the devatas, all Brahma, Shiva, even Vishnu. Krishna is superior to all of them. And Bhagavatam very clearly describes that Krishna is supreme. But Bhagavatam describes Srishti Leela before Rasa Leela. Because when we understand the greatness of Krishna in 9 cantos, then we can relish the sweetness of Krishna in the 10th canto. So therefore, Krishna's glorious position as a supreme personality of Godhead, as a person, is described. The glorious position of Vrindavan is described. Vrindavanam Sakibho Vitanoti Kirtim Yaddevaki Sutpadambujalabda Lakshmi. So Vrindavan is increasing the glory of this world, because Vrindavan is marked with the footprints of Krishna. People, they don't get attracted by Krishna because they are attracted by this glittering beauty of this world. But the result is they get frustrated. So only way to come out of this frustration is to start focusing on Krishna. Of course, sometimes this frustration brings one closer to Krishna also. One time Srila Prabhupada went to one devotee's home, and he saw that on the altar, along with the whole Guru Parampara, there was a picture of the girl was also there. So Prabhupada asked him that what is this girl's photo doing here on the altar? So this devotee said, Prabhupada, I consider her my Siksha Guru. So Prabhupada said, how is it that? So he said, Prabhupada, I was actually in love with her, and then she left me, and then I was so disheartened, shattered, and then I was asking the fundamental questions of my life. Why do bad things happen to good people? And I was really distressed. Then somebody gave me Bhagavad Gita, and then I read it and I became devotee. So therefore, I consider her my guru. Prabhupada said, that's okay, good sentiments, but don't worship her on altar. So therefore, most of the times, frustration of this world leads to, moroseness, distress, depression. Somehow, by the mercy of devotees, the frustration of this world may bring one closer to Krishna also. So therefore, Bhagavatam describes that, there is a debt everybody of us have, because this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam was given by Krishna through the parampara, and this whole parampara is very beautifully, giving this knowledge intact, and we are getting knowledge without any damage. But it's just like a very, very ripened fruit, which is very carefully handed down from the topmost branch to the lowermost person who is standing at the ground. Similarly, Bhagavatam says in this verse that how can persons who have rendered unlimited service by explaining the path of the supreme person, path of the self-realization, and whose explanations are given for our enlightenment, be repaid? Nobody can repay the debt which our parampara has given. Whatever we have received, we cannot repay. If somebody tries to repay the debt, he becomes Vinod Patram, he becomes a joker, So therefore, all the acharyas, they have displayed this mood of humility. Whatever we are getting, it is by the mercy of our predecessor acharyas. One scholar came and told Prabhupada, Swamiji, I have read your book, Bhagavad Gita, and I have read actually Ramanujacharya's commentary on Bhagavad Gita also. And let me tell you that your commentary is very similar to the commentary of Ramanujacharya. Prabhupada said, thank you very much for glorifying. If this happens in the outside world, if somebody says, your book is like that another author's book, it is not a glorification. But in spiritual life, if we are following the parampara, that is the glory. That is our right. As it is said, to copy is our right. So we have to just do the copy paste. Whatever we hear, we have to repeat it. So therefore, this Bhagavatam is coming in parampara. And Chakravarti Thakur, he studied from his guru for a long, long time. He studied Vaishnava Toshani of Sanatana Goswami, Shad Sandarbhas of Jiva Goswami. And then he has written very, very beautiful commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam called Sharartha Darshini, which describes the flow of Bhagavatam in a very, very nice way. The moods behind various things which are spoken. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, rash in this attempt. He says, my foolishness will produce mockery. It is all because of Lord's causeless mercy. And although I am rash in making this attempt, but this Sarartha Darshini will produce bliss with every word for his devotee, for the devotees. Srila Prabhupada also has said many times that I am just repeating whatever predecessor acharyas have told. And here in this slide you can see Prabhupada is writing. There are many, many erudite scholars who have given commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, and the serious student would do well to attempt to go through them to better relish the transcendental messages. So what Srila Prabhupada has given us, it is a treasure which we have to keep in our heart, relish it, read it again and again. At the same time, we should try to read the commentaries of these acharyas, because these commentaries are also very, very powerful. Srila Prabhupada writes, it is to be admitted that whatever translation work I have done is through the inspiration of my spiritual master, although personally I am most insignificant and incompetent to do this. So therefore, Prabhupada would tell again and again, whatever I am doing, it is by the mercy of the my Gurudev and all the disciples who were there at Prabhupada's time. Prabhupada would say, it is all because of your credit. And here also we can see Prabhupada is giving credit to all his American disciples. Pradyumna Das Adhikari, Shriman Nitai Das Adhikari, Shriman Joydvait Das Brahmachari, that is our Joydvait Maharaj now. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada is telling us the mood behind reading these scriptures. We should be very, very grateful. Whatever I am able to read is by the mercy of devotees. Otherwise, we will not even have the entrance into these pristine knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. All the acharyas, they have repeatedly shown their humble attitude. Even Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he describes, in his book, he is telling the readers, you read the book of Chaitanya, you read this book called Chaitanya Mangal. That is, Chaitanya Mangal was called as Chaitanya Bhagavat was called as Chaitanya Mangal at that time. So he says, Vrindavan Das Koila Chaitanya Mangal, Tahate Chaitanya Lila Varnila Sakal. So Vrindavan Das, he wrote Chaitanya Mangal, and in that he has written all the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore he says, Ore Mudhalok Shunna Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Mahima Yate Janibe Sakal. Oh foolish people, you read Chaitanya Mangal written by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kahe Ved Vyas, Chaitanya Lila Rabhyas Vrindavan Das. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kahe Ved Vyas. Ved Vyas has written Krishna Lila in Bhagavatam. Similarly, Vrindavan Das Thakur has written all the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Mangal. So therefore, again and again, he glorifies Vrindavan Das Thakur. Again and again, he says, read Chaitanya Mangal. That is the humility which our acharyas have shown. And therefore, this should be the mood behind reading scriptures, that I am able to read this because somebody showed mercy. Our senior devotees, our gurus, Srila Prabhupada, and all the parampara, by their mercy, we are able to read this Bhagavatam. So therefore, we'll see just the glimpse of what is there in Bhagavatam, what are the glories of Bhagavatam. So this Bhagavatam begins with this verse. In this verse, Vyasadeva describes that Krishna is the primeval cause. He is the supreme cognizant being, independent, and he gives knowledge to Brahmaji. He bewilders even Devatas by his strength. He is the factual basis of everything, and his eternal abode never gets destroyed. Similar verse comes in the 12th canto also. The first verse ended with Satyam Param Dhimahi. Almost last few verses of Bhagavatam also ends with Satyam Param Dhimahi. So in this, it is described that when Krishna is speaking to Brahmaji, Krishna is speaking. When Brahma is speaking to Narad Muni, it is Krishna in the form of Brahma who is speaking. When Narad Muni is speaking to Vyasadeva, actually Krishna is speaking in the form of Narad Muni. When Vyasadeva is speaking to Shukadeva Goswami, actually Krishna is speaking to Shukadeva Goswami. So therefore, in all the stages, throughout the parampara, Krishna is personally speaking. Kasmayena vibhashitoyam atulo jnana pradipapura tadarupena cha naradaya muniye krishnaya tadarupena yogendraya tadatmanat bhagavat rataya karunyata tashuddham vimalam vishokam amritam satyam param dhimahi. So therefore, it is described, I meditate on the pure, shuddha, spotless, vimalam, vishokam, who is free from the sufferings and death, amritam, satyam param dhimahi. I meditate on supreme absolute truth. So therefore, there are many commentaries which are written on Srimad Bhagavatam. Chakravarti Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he has written this Sararth Darshani. Sanatan Goswami has written Brihad Bhagavatamrit. which is actually the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam, which was spoken by Parikshit Maharaj to his mother Uttara. After Shukdev Goswami completed whole Bhagavatam, he left. He did not wait to see the departure of Parikshit Maharaj. There was still some time remaining. Mother Uttara came running and she requested Parikshit Maharaj, please explain me the essence of whatever you have heard from Shukdev Goswami. So whatever Parikshit Maharaj told Uttara, that is described in a book called Brihad Bhagavatamrit by Sanatana Goswami. And then Jiva Goswami has also written a commentary on Bhagavatam that is called Bhagavat Sandarbha. Then there is one other Acharya called Kavi Karnapur. He has written is Anand Vrindavan Champu. There are hundreds of commentaries written by devotees. And actually, whenever Krishna is speaking, whenever any devotee is speaking, actually Krishna is speaking. Throughout Bhagavatam, there are various paramparas which are described. Krishna speaks to Brahmaji. Krishna speaks to Narada. Narada speaks to Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva speaks to Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami spoke to all the Parikshit Maharaj. And that assembly, Sut Goswami was there. Sut Goswami spoke this knowledge, Bhagavatam, again to the sages of Naimisharanya. That is one parampara. Another parampara is directly given by Krishna to Uddhava. Krishna spoke this knowledge to Uddhava. Krishna, in the form of Kapila Dev, gave this knowledge to Mother Devahuti. Narad Muni gave this knowledge to Dhruv Maharaj. He gave to Prachetas. He gave to Prahlad. He gave to Prachina Barhi. Krishna, as Sankarshana, he spoke to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva spoke to Prachetas. So there are so many paramparas which are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies the Srimad Bhagavatam to the choicest extent. So this Bhagavatam rejects all the cheating type of religions. It propounds the highest truth, dharma projita. Dharma projita means, we'll discuss this more in the first canto when we start tomorrow. Dharma projita, it rejects all the cheating type of religion. It is the highest truth. It is understandable only by non-envious. It is the only reality. It removes all the types of miseries. It is compiled by Vyasadeva, Mahamuni Krite. And when somebody reads Bhagavatam, Supreme Lord is very easily established in the heart. So therefore, this book should not be used to fulfill our material desires. There are two duties everybody has: Swadharma and Paradharma. Swadharma means duties of this world. Paradharma means duty of the spiritual world. This book Bhagavatam tells about Paradharma. All the mundane things are rejected. Even the relationship of father and son is rejected, just like Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. If anything is opposed to Bhagavatam and Krishna, it is rejected. One time, one person in our Bhaktivedanta hospital, he entered, he had to undergo some operation. So he was taken to OT, operation theater. And in that operation theater, there was a picture of Narasimha Dev which was kept. So this person got bewildered. बोले ये किसका फोटो है? ये नरसिम्हा देव का फोटो है. अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा. तो ये क्या कर रहे हैं? So doctor, he said, this is the first surgery which was performed. Operation successful, patient delivered. So therefore, Bhagavatam rejects all the mundane relationships. Even the relationship of husband and wife, it is rejected. All the gopis, they gave up all their mundane relationships to go to Krishna. So therefore, Bhagavatam is the highest literature which can purify us of all the mundane contaminations. It can relieve us of all the miseries. Somebody may ask, how is this possible? If by reading Bhagavatam, how one can be free from the miseries? Yes, for sure, will not be free from the miseries. Bhagavatam does not eradicate miseries. It gives us the strength to deal with the miseries. That should be very, very clear. And throughout the Bhagavatam, various characters of Bhagavatam have shown by their behavior how to deal with the miseries. Kunti Maharani is saying, please give those miseries again and again. When Chitraketu Maharaj was cursed by Mother Parvati, he smiles and says, thank you, Mother. Everything in this world is happening because of the modes of nature. What is heaven? What is hell? Everything is same, you know. So therefore, Bhagavatam describes this pristine, spotless behavior of the great devotees, how they responded when problems came in their life. And whole Bhagavatam is the description of that. Starting from the first canto, Parikshit Maharaj, all the Pandavas, then Vidura, then the sages of Naimisharanya, they are telling what is their problem. Dhruv Maharaj, then Prahlad Maharaj, Chitraketu, all these devotees, they are showing by their example how to deal with the problems of this world. And therefore, when somebody reads Bhagavatam, very soon Krishna will enter the heart. Amamanase tamasarashi ghore karagrahe dukkhamay nibaddha labhasya he chaur hare chiraya sachaurya dosho chitameva dandam. In this Chaurashtakam, Bilvangal Thakur describes that I will keep you, O my Lord, in my heart. My heart is a very dark place, you know. I'll keep you trapped in my heart. You'll not be able to go out. So that is how devotees, they want to keep Krishna in their heart, and of course they want to serve Krishna. So this was the first canto, first chapter, second verse, and then the last 12th canto, 13th chapter, almost last verses, it is also glorifying Bhagavatam again. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. It is very, very dear to Vaishnavas. It is Puranam Amalam. It is understandable only by Paramhamsas. So the same things are described, glorification of Bhagavatam in the beginning of the Bhagavatam and the end of the Bhagavatam. And the result of the hearing Bhagavatam is, it gives Gyan, Vairagya, Bhakti, Naishkarmya. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramaham Samekam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmyama Vishkritam Tashrinvam Supatan Charana Paro Bhaktya Vimochen Naraha. So when we read Bhagavatam, Jnana, Vairagya, Bhakti and Naishkarmya will enter the heart. It is described in Bhagavatam in great detail. And when we hear Bhagavatam, chant Bhagavatam, contemplate on Bhagavatam, we will be liberated. So therefore it is described in Bhagavatam how to read Bhagavatam. Yaha Bhagavat pada Vaishnavera sthane ekanta ashraya kar chaitanya charane. One should read Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavatam in association of devotees. One should not hear from professional reciters who are not devotees, because if we are hearing from professional reciters, it is like drinking the milk which is touched by a serpent. So therefore one should hear Bhagavatam from a self-realized Vaishnava. By such hearing, one becomes very, very pious and pure. So therefore when somebody reads Bhagavatam, nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. So therefore we have to understand that Bhagavatam is spotless Purana. We have to try to make this Bhagavatam as our life and soul. Chaitanya Bhaktagana Nityakara Sangha Tabe Tajjani Siddhanta Samudra Tarang. Regularly associated with devotees of Lord Chaitanya, then you will understand the philosophy of Bhagavatam. Tabeta Panditya Tamar Hoibe Safal Krishnera Swarupa Leela Varni Ba Nirmal. Then, if you have some knowledge, intelligence, if you want to prove your knowledge and intelligence, read Bhagavatam in association of devotees. So therefore, the subject matter of Bhagavatam is glorification of Krishna. Narayana Rishi Kesho Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi. That is the subject matter of Bhagavatam, to glorify Krishna. Subject matter of What was the subject matter of Nectar of Devotion? To glorify Krishna. So all these literatures, their only subject matter is to glorify Krishna. This Bhagavatam is compared to four things. This Bhagavatam is compared to a lamp which destroys darkness. It is compared to a sun. It destroys all the misconceptions. Bhagavatam is compared to a fruit, Nigama Kalpa Taror Galitam Phalam, which nourishes. And this Bhagavatam is compared to Mohini Murti also. You know why to Mohini Murti? Because what Mohini Murti did, she gave nectar to all the devatas only. And she did not give anything to the demons. This Bhagavatam can be relished only by devotees. Demonic people cannot understand Bhagavatam because Bhagavatam is a person. Bhagavatam reciprocates according to the desires and attitude of a person. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita. So, Lord personally covers a person who have a demoniac mentality. So therefore, Bhagavatam is a person. Those who want to speculate, Bhagavatam gives those people enough scope to speculate. But those who want to study and hear Bhagavatam in a humble mood, Bhagavatam reciprocates accordingly. One person came to Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, you are saying that one should chant loudly, but I have heard that one should not chant loudly, one should chant in mind. Prabhupada did not say anything. After some time, it was time for prasad. And prasad was getting distributed. Prabhupada said, you can give everyone, don't give him. He'll eat it mentally. So that was Prabhupada. So therefore, Bhagavatam is compared to Mohini Murti. And this verse of Bhagavatam describes how this Bhagavatam is compared to a lamp. Shruti Saramekam Adhyatma Deepam. So Shukdev, this is a prayer by Sut Goswami to Shukdev Goswami. He says that Shukdev Goswami has personally assimilated it. Swa Anubhava. Shruti Saram, he has assimilated all the essence of the scriptures. And it is like a Adhyatma Deepa. It is like a lamp which can destroy the ignorance in the heart of people in general. Bhagavatam is given by Shukdev Goswami for one purpose only. Samsarinam karunaya purana guhyam. Only for the welfare of people in general. So that is the purpose of Bhagavatam. And then we discussed about how Bhagavatam is compared to sun also. Purana Arka. So therefore, Krishna has manifested so many pastimes so that we can follow the pastimes. We should not be speculating any of these pastimes. The Bhagavatam pastimes, they are like crystal clear sun. We should read it and hear it from bona fide devotees in parampara. One time there was a devotee, Pushkar Prabhu. He's a painter. So he decided to make some painting. He went to a balcony of the guest house in Vrindavan and he painted this. He was seeing the scenery and he painted the trees and the landscape. And it was not specific. And he shares that I was not specifically thinking of Krishna, but then after I painted the trees, I decided, but Krishna has to be there. So I painted Krishna and few more gopas. So Pushkar Prabhu, he was sharing. And then, he wanted to show that to Prabhupada. So he showed to Prabhupada after some time, and then Prabhupada asked, which verse? What is the idea? Which verse does it illustrate? So Pushkar Prabhu was really dumb. He was speechless. And he said, Prabhupada, well, Krishna is unlimited. Krishna is playing flute on the bank of the river. Prabhupada said, okay, Krishna is unlimited, but you are limited. Don't speculate. So therefore, we should read Bhagavatam in parampara from the bona fide devotees. That is how it is compared to sun. Therefore, in the third verse of this Bhagavatam is inviting all of us to drink this nectar of Hari Katha. This nectar is so very tasty. It is like, so Vyasdev and Narad Muni both are sitting in the audience when Shukdev Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. So Krishna's, it is just like Krishna's stealing pastimes are very sweet. And when gopis, they describe it, it becomes more sweeter. So why gopis would go to Mother Yashoda for to complain? Actually, they were not complaining. Actually, it is described that all the gopis, all the elderly gopis, they would churn the butter. They would keep milk at their homes thinking that Krishna should come to my place today. And then, just to talk about Krishna was their favorite pastime. And, they were thinking that actually Krishna is stealing in everyone's home. He is giving joy to everyone. But there is one person who is not getting this joy, and that is Mother Yashoda. So what we should do, we should go to Mother Yashoda and we should tell her all the pastimes which Krishna is doing. And that's why she would go every time. All these gopis, they would go every time to tell Mother Yashoda what Krishna is doing. So similarly, and therefore when gopis, they do this, this becomes more sweeter. So similarly, when Shukdev Goswami is describing Bhagavatam, it becomes more sweeter. So that is how Krishna is sweet. All these pastimes are sweet. But when it is described by pure devotees of the Lord, it becomes much more sweeter. So the first and second cantos of Bhagavatam, they are compared to a lamp. Third to ninth cantos of Bhagavatam, they are compared to the sun. So why lamp? Lamp removes the darkness of ignorance. Who is Krishna? Who are the devotees? What is this creation? It is shown in first and second cantos. Third to ninth cantos, they destroy all the misconceptions one may have about Supreme Personality of Godhead. And 10th canto is the actual fruit of this whole Bhagavatam, which describes the pastimes of Krishna. And 11th and 12th canto, they are compared to Mohini Murti. Why Mohini Murti? Because in 11th canto, the disappearance pastimes of Krishna are described. And this bewilders all the atheists. So therefore, Krishna disappeared in such a way that those who are atheists, they will get some evidence to prove that Krishna is not a Supreme Personality. So Krishna very nicely orchestrated the whole event in such a way that those people who are atheists, envious, they will get some, a chance, some evidence that to prove that, oh, Krishna is not an Supreme Lord, he is an ordinary person. Therefore, one should understand that this Bhagavatam is the sweetest literature. Nobody becomes satisfied by hearing Bhagavatam, and actually everybody becomes satisfied just by hearing Bhagavatam. Ko nama tripyet rasavit kathayam mahattamekanta parayanasya harerudaram charitam vishuddham shushrushatam no vitanotu vidyam. Ko nama tripyet. Who can be satisfied by chanting the names of the Lord? This verse here on the slide says, who can be satisfied? Kastripnuyat. Who can be satisfied by hearing the glories of Krishna? When the glories of Krishna's pastimes enters the ear, what it does? Bhavapradam geharati chinati. The family attachment, which is the cause of existence in this world, gets destroyed. So therefore, Supreme Lord describes the unlimited narrations of the pastimes of Krishna. And then it is described that actually Bhagavatam is the essence of all the topics. So this is a verse which was spoken by Vidura to Maitreya. It comes in the third canto. When we reach third canto, we'll discuss this in more detail. So this verse describes Tadasya Kausha Rava Sharma Dhatu Hare Kathameva Katha Susaram Udhritya Pushpebhya Ivarta Bandho Shivaya Nah Kirtaya Tirtha Kirteh. Kaushara means Maitreya. So Vidura is telling to Maitreya, oh Maitreya, oh friend of the distressed, Artha Bandho. Artha Bandho means friend of the distressed. So the glories of the Supreme Lord, Hari Katha, can alone provide fortune for all the people in general. It is the Kathasu Saram. It is the essence of all the topics. Just like the bee, honeybee takes the essence from the flowers. Similarly, please you also describe the essence of all the topics, that is the topics of the Lord. So Bhagavatam is a very, very nicely described by Shukdev Goswami, which is a combination of philosophy and pastimes. If you just keep on speaking philosophy, people will get bored after some time. कितना philosophy सुना रहे हो, कोई pastime सुनाओ ना. Whenever some devotees they give class only philosophy, sometimes devotees say, they say, Prabhu ji थोड़ा pastime भी बोलना चाहिए. Otherwise it becomes all boring. So Bhagavatam is a blend of philosophy and pastime. Bhagavatam is actually relevant for everyone. Even if somebody has no desires, all desires, desire for liberation, everybody can find something in Bhagavatam. Akama sarva kamo va mokshakam udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So therefore, Bhagavatam is relishable by everyone. It is relishable by scholars, just like this verse says. Adabra Shruta. Those who are scholars of the Vedic wisdom, they can also relish Bhagavatam. And those who are very, very ignorant, simple people, they can also glorify Bhagavatam. They can also relish Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam mitigates all the miseries. People in this world, they suffer a lot for little pleasure. Sohamnanam challa sukhaya dukkham mahadgatanam viramaya tasya. Shulla sukh means very little pleasure. Mahat dukkha. People in this world, they go extreme miseries for the sake of little pleasure. Therefore, please hear Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam can remove all the material distress. This is the only way to cross this ocean of material existence. Bhava Sindhu plavo drishto. Bhava Sindhu. If you want to cross this ocean, this Bhava Sindhu can be only crossed by taking shelter of the boat of Bhagavatam. So therefore, the path of bhakti is the surest path, safest path, and shortest path. All the other yoga paths, they are not even an iota of what is Bhagavatam, what is Bhakti Yoga. And therefore it is described that Bhakti can vanquish all the lamentation, all the fear, and all the illusion. Very beautiful verse described here. Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsam Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Just by hearing the pastimes of Krishna, who is Supreme Lord, devotion will arise in the heart. It will at once extinguish shoka, moha, and bhaya, lamentation, fear, and illusion. By reading Bhagavatam, one will not have misconceptions even at the time of death. No confusion. Just like we can see example of Srila Prabhupada. Till the last breath of his life, he was giving purports to Bhagavatam verses. Prabhupada could give purports to 10th canto, 13th chapter of Bhagavatam. If you read that 13th chapter of Bhagavatam, all the purports, they are crystal clear philosophy. If person is at the verge of death, it is very difficult to even speak anything coherently. Prabhupada was just bones and skin. He was not eaten anything. He had not eaten anything, drunk anything for months together. But still, he was so very absorbed in the pastimes of Krishna. Now, uttama shloka vartanam jushutam tat kathamritam syat sambhramo antakalepi smaratam tat padambujam. Sambhramo antakalepi na smaratam. Sambhramo antakalepi na. He will not have confusion. If somebody is smaratam tat padambujam, somebody is remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, he will not have any confusion at the time of death also. Whom to remember at the time of death, there will be no confusion. So therefore, Bhagavatam gives right aspirations. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, our aspirations were completely 180-degree opposite. Dhanam, Janam, Sundari. After coming to Krishna consciousness, no got added. No Dhanam, no Janam, no Sundari. Our aspirations have changed. Just like Dhruv Maharaj is saying, oh my Lord, I did tapasya to want to get a kingdom greater than my great grandfather Brahma. But now oh my Lord, I don't want anything, So that's how bhakti purifies our aspirations. Bhakti purifies the heart. Bhagavatam is the only thing which animates, beautifies, and purifies the entire world. Very beautiful verse described in the 10th canto describes Prananti Shumbanti Punanti Vai Jagat. Prananti, it gives life to all the things in this world. Shambhanti, it beautifies this world. Punanti, it purifies the world. All the Yasya Akhila Amiva Habisu Mangalai. Bhagavatam can destroy all the sins and it can create all the good fortune. So therefore, we should read Bhagavatam. If we are not reading Bhagavatam and if we are reading other scriptures, all the glorification of things and people of this world, they are like decoration of a dead corpse. Nobody decorates a dead body. But if you are just glorifying all the people and things of this world and not glorifying Krishna, it is like that. So therefore, Bhagavatam, all the verses of Bhagavatam, they are like zip file, There is so much of meaning which is there in the Bhagavatam verses. We can keep on relishing and reciting Bhagavatam verses every moment. So therefore, we have to understand Bhagavatam is purer than the purest thing which is available. It is made available for all of us by Srila Prabhupada, by mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Guru Parampara, by Krishna himself. So therefore, we should relish Bhagavatam to the fullest extent and become purified, make our life perfect. So we'll stop here. This is the glory of Bhagavatam. There are unlimited glories. We have just taken a drop of that. So from tomorrow, we'll start Bhagavatam overview systematically. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If anybody has any questions, they can ask, or we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll stop here. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.